Muzan is a hoe ass nigga. You see, 2 centuries ago, Muzan was spanked.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Steve. Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we have Muzan might be the worst main villain ever. Let's check it out.
Muzan Kibutsuji. You've probably heard of him. I mean, he's the main villain of the literal biggest anime of the past decade or so, but accolades.
Why would you just say that so boldly? Why did you just make that claim like that? Demon Slayer of the last decade? I don't know if gang agree with that, little dude. I don't know if gang could agree with that one, little dude. I'ma just be honest with you.
Aside, Muzan is a problem.
We got One Piece, you know, Attack on Titan, finished up their little stuff within the recent years of the decade. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know when this whole dropped. Solo Leveling, this vid dropped 8 months ago. Solo Leveling was going crazy. So, I don't know if it's been one of the more dominant ones for sure. But don't just say the best. I don't know about that one.
A series of problems, actually. Problem number 1. Muzan kinda accidentally turned into an immortal monster that hungers for human flesh and evaporates in the sunlight. Problem number 2. The remedy for problem number 1 comes in the form of the blue wisteria, a rare flower that has eluded Muzan for centuries. Problem number 3. Standing in the way of Muzan in his quest for this flower is the Ubuyashiki family, a family that has sworn to stop Muzan's reign of destruction in Japan by enlisting the help of fucking superpowered samurai child soldiers. And lastly, there's problem number 4, perhaps the most damning of these problems actually. Muzan is an absolute fucking dumbass. See, Demon Slayer has this sort of conundrum where the odds are so overwhelmingly skewed in the favor of the bad guys that the only way this story can really go on is if the main villain is so grossly incompetent that he commits literal centuries worth of fumbles, and so lo and behold.
Hold on. I mean, I never really thought about it on this type of level. Is it really? I gotta hear him out. I'm gonna let him cook. I don't disagree with him because I don't know. These are regular people versus demons. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, talk to me.
Our boy Muzan commits centuries worth of fumbles. Now, for a long time, Muzan had the luxury of fumbling, right? The nigga was so overwhelmingly powerful compared to his ops, most of his ops at least, that he could afford to kind of just ignore them, put them off to the side. Sure, he probably could kill them all pretty easily if he just tried. I mean, he came face to face with the main character before said main character was strong enough to even break a hair on his head. But you see, that brings us into problem number 5 actually. Muzan is a hoe ass nigga. You see, 2 centuries ago, Muzan was spanked by a nigga that was essentially Samurai Jesus. It was the closest he had been to dying in his entire.
Are we gonna hold on? We about to spoil from the manga? Cause I ain't gonna lie, I just caught up like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month ago. I just caught up on the anime. I'm waiting for the Infinity Castle to drop. From my knowledge, they have not gone into this fight. They've just talked about him. They've hinted at him a few times, said he was the strongest, blah, 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 whatever. That's it. If we get into spoiler territory, you're gonna have to cut that motherfucker off. I ain't gonna lie.
Entire immortal life, and so like a kid who had been scared straight by his pop's belt, Muzan was basically PTSD'd into inaction and would spend the rest of his days enlisting other niggas to go handle his light work in fear of the mere possibility that he might one day live to see another ass whooping. Now, like I said earlier, for a long time, our boy Muzan had the luxury of fumbling. He had the luxury of just dawdling around for centuries, passively trying to reach his goal of true immortality. But when a 14-year-old girl accidentally reaches this goal before him, oh hell nah, bro. That nigga Muzan is about tight as hell, because how is a literal 14-year-old about to be given the powers that he spent the past 1400 years fiending for? Something's not adding up to Muzan. And so he decides, you know what? I think it's high time I take matters into my own hands. I need to get me this 14-year-old girl, pause.
For sure.
And I need to reabsorb her essence back into my own, pause.
For sure.
So that I can finally obtain true immortality. And so he goes to do just that. For the first time in centuries, our boy Muzan jumps up off his buns and goes to do something useful with his life. But you see, here's where we run into problem number 4 again, the one about Muzan being a dumbass. Muzan is still a dumbass. You remember Ubuyashiki, right? Muzan's biggest op that we discussed a bit earlier.
This dude is a psychopath, boy. If you've seen the last episode, he's probably gonna get into it. It might spoil you. You're warned. But this dude is crazy as shit.
Yeah, well, word gets around to Muzan that old Uba Yashiki isn't doing too hot. You see, Uba Yashiki has like this cursed cancer, blindness, tuberculosis.
I hope they explain what he had, cause like, what?
This HIV hybrid. I really don't know what homeboy has, to be honest, but it's bad. And it's gotten to the point where the doctors are telling him that he has mere days left on the clock. Now, if there is one moment in this story, one moment where Muzan should have stuck with being his usual passive, inactive self, it is this moment right here. He literally has God himself about to wipe the biggest threat to his plans off the map due to natural causes. All he needs to do to gain even more of an upper hand than he already has is do exactly what he's been doing for the past millennia. Absolutely nothing.
That's facts. That's facts. His biggest op was on his deathbed, and instead of waiting for him to die, he hopped out on feet. He hopped out on feet to do it himself. Maybe it's something I'm not remembering. Maybe it's something he's not explaining here in totality. But why? I understand he wanted Nezuko. I understand that. Maybe, but I guess. I don't know.
96 Ubu Yashikis go out this way. A lot of these niggas he probably hasn't even seen in person. Why switch it up now that your plan is finally starting to miraculously make some sort of headway? But you know what they say, right? The ego kills, bruh. Muzan decides that instead of just laying low and attacking the enemy at their weakest, which is literally like in a day after he dies, he'd rather go ahead and attack the enemy on their terms. He'd rather approach the enemy while the ball is in their court, because of course his dumbass would. Why would he ever decide to put himself in an advantageous situation? On the other hand, we have Uba Yashiki. Uba Yashiki, despite his dilapidated state, is still the embodiment of 96 generations of Muzan hatred. He is the culmination of a millennia's worth of plotting and anti-Muzan tactics. And so when he sees Muzan pull up at his front door while he's on his deathbed,
his fat nigga head devious.
Oh, that boy's ready. Uba Yashiki, unlike Muzan, he knows how to execute a plan. He knows how to execute a plan very well, in fact. You see, him and his forefathers,
I gained a lot of respect for this show after watching this. Let me tell you. Oh, I don't want to say it. Just watch.
He don't really have the convenience of an immortal body like Muzan, and so to even stand a fighting chance against the guy, they have to rely on tactics and future sight and super swordplay children, but a lot of tactics too. And so what happens when you combine these genius tactics with the future sight and the super sword children, and then you sprinkle on a little bit of nothing to lose just to spice things up a little bit? You get the perfect trap for this dumbass nigga named Muzan. Muzan walks up to Uba Yashiki's deathbed like he's already won the fight. He put on his cleanest threads for their fated meeting. All white suit, black tie, black overcoat. If there's one area where Muzan isn't absolutely mentally dumb, it's his drip. I'll give credit where credit is due. The nigga knows how to put that shit on. But anyway, Muzan, who really only came to talk shit, quickly finds that he's not the one talking shit. In fact, he's struggling to even sneak in a word edgewise as Uba Yashiki is popping off at the mouth crazy, frying this nigga in front of his wife and kids. The kids ain't even paying no attention to Muzan at all. They're over there playing taps or some shit.
He should have knew. Yes, this is a dangerous or a clan that has plotted on you, whatever, however. If anything were to not tip this man off, he should have knew that. Why are the kids playing just off to the side, playing volleyball? Are you you don't realize something's off? Other than them just being a weird clan in general, you don't realize something's off where you could just walk in this hoe, start talking crazy to their dad, and they don't do nothing about it. Nothing happens. Like no one's even flinching or reacting for real. You crazy.
What has this family so emboldened in the face of a literal demon king?
What I'm saying. Then you gonna find out.
Uba Yashiki suicide bombs. He blows up his house with himself, his wife, his kids, and Muzan Kibutsuji all there to suffer the brunt of the attack. The human
When he did this, dude, my jaw was through the ground, boy. I said, what? I said, it's no way he just blew up the kids for this. He ended the bloodline. There is no more Uyubushikis, whatever his name is. There's no more. He said this whole, like me, my clan, and you we're finally putting an end to this right here, right now. It's over with. And then he said, even if this don't work, I'm gonna get my youngins on you.
Humans in attendance all evaporate into nothingness within seconds of the explosion, but the immortal demon in their midst, he isn't so lucky. Muzan is now fighting the biggest L he's ever had to face since Samurai Jesus. The demon, who usually brushes off injuries in an instant, is now struggling to regenerate. But to make matters worse, and this is where Ubuyashiki's true genius shines through, the detonation of the Ubuyashiki estate wasn't just a well-timed explosion done to put Muzan through hell for a few seconds. It was a signal. A signal for all of the superpowered samurai within the area to converge on this one point where they would find their ultimate enemy delivered to them on a silver platter while in a weakened, compromised state. See, Muzan's goofy ass thought he was just gonna pull up to the crib and run an easy squabble with a dead man walking.
No.
Thanks to Ubuyashiki hitting that boy with the most clap tactics of 1926, Muzan now finds himself having to fade 2 mentally ill niggas, 2 PhDs, the literal main character, an e-girl, a nonchalant dreadhead, Mr. Olympia, and worst of all, an emo nigga. Studies show that upwards of 95% of anime villain plans are foiled by an emo nigga. If this encounter right here showed me anything, it's that all in all, Muzan just isn't what he should be, bruh. As the main villain of an anime, Muzan has got to be the first one that I've seen get jumped into the last act of the story against his will. Aren't the villains?
First off, this is beautiful, but he's got a point. He's got a point. And I'm not here to be down on Demon Slayer. I like Demon Slayer. I think it's a good show. Never understood the best anime ever type, you know what I'm saying, hype it was getting in season 1, season 2. I never understood that, but that was mainly based on story. You know what I'm saying? People was really gassing it off the animation, and like I said, I'm not here to down it, but this would just be another reason as to why it's just not on that level. Like I said, great show, fantastic show, to be honest. It's just not on that level, just that top shelf. You see what I'm saying? Right show though.
Villains usually supposed to be the ones catching the heroes off guard.
Oh, that was it. Wow. Go watch that. Go watch that episode. If you have not watched that, go watch that episode, bro. It was really, truly one of the best anime episodes I've watched in a minute. For sure it was. I obviously watched it late though, because it's been came out and stuff. But that's gonna do it for me. I enjoyed the video. Shout out Teddy Schlump for the vid. Make sure to leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. You do what you do. I'm gonna do what I do. To the next one. Peace.